What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another fun-filled, colorful, entertaining episode of the Spectator Podcast. I am your host, Keith Mitchell, and join with me are my two troublemakers here, Karl May Smart. Hey, Karl, what's up?
What up?
Matthew Casilius Paul.
Hey, what's up, guys?
And we have a guest returning back to the show. Sean, go ahead and introduce yourself, buddy.
Hey, everybody. Sean Garmer from Video Games to the Max, W2Net.com. Nice to be back here again.
We got a lot of stuff to talk about this week, and hopefully we can get to all the topics. But before we do that, of course, beginning of every show, we talk about the games that we played. Sean, I know you said you didn't play anything, but I'm going to put you in a hot seat anyway. You've got to have played one thing. You had to have played one thing.
Well, I played more RETROMANIA Wrestling because I'm writing the review right now, so I just wanted to go through and make sure I didn't miss anything.
So that is the spiritual successor to the old WrestleMania game, correct?
The
Arcade
WrestleFest game.
Yeah. How was that game? How was that?
That game is good. It's good. It's 2D wrestling. The character roster is not like you would want if you're a casual wrestling fan. If you're a hardcore wrestling fan and watches a lot of different things, then I think you'll definitely know everybody. But if not, I mean, it's cool. You get to play as John Morrison, even though he's Johnny Nitro in this game.
Johnny Nitro.
Johnny Million Names.
Names.
In the story mode that's really short. And yeah, I mean, and you get to try to be the Innovate champion in the go for the gold and beat Nick Aldis.
So let me ask you this, because I don't play many wrestling games, but right. I did play one game in particular a lot, the Fire Pro Wrestling game series.
It's a lot like that.
It is. Okay. Is there a creator wrestler mode in there as well?
No. The wrestling is like that, where, you have the different grapples and you actually have to try to, the way you reverse is by trying to not button mash, but necessarily try to make sure you press the button at the same, before your opponent and stuff like that. But it's not as arcadey as, say, the WrestleFest. There's more of the Fire Pro Wrestling mechanics in there. And I love the fact that you actually feel like you earned something by, there's progression in how you can do the weak, strong, and eventually your finisher or whatever. So that's pretty cool, because not even the WWE games seem to have that down. Because sometimes the WWE games you could be doing that, the rock, not the rock bottom, but the DDT that he does or whatever in the first move, and you really shouldn't be able to. So, maybe you take a key from these smaller games to learn how you should do your gameplay system. But that's
is that a direct jab at a major company there?
Yes,
no.
2K should care more about their WWE 2K games than they do.
No,
you did all that to get rid of Ukes, and they still suck. I mean, come on.
That's good. That's good programming.
No, that
I
was
wasted
so bad.
more money to do bad work. Come on, think of your brain there, Sean.
And now Ukes is over there destroying the EDF game, second EDF game that they make. So
I'm looking at some gameplay footage of this, and I'm seeing 4 people in the ring. Is this what couch co-op? Can't talk now.
Yeah, it's couch co-op. There's no online play. You can actually have 8 people. They have 8-man tags.
8?
8-man tags, yeah.
8 people, or 4 people and 4 computer, or 8 people?
Well, 4 people and 4 computer.
Oh, okay.
And then if you play they actually have an arcade machine. It also came to arcade, so you could technically with 8 people if you're at an arcade, I guess.
Oh, that's actually pretty cool.
But yeah.
Oh, it was cool to hear about this. I saw this game not too long ago, and I was curious about it when they were like, yeah, WrestleFest. Like, wait, what? The old arcade game? Yeah, that one. All right, cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's just here's the thing with, I hate having this conversation, but this is one of those times I feel like it's relevant. For the stuff that it has in it, I feel like $30 might be a little bit too much. I feel like they're putting the $30 on there because it's an indie studio that got the license to get the name, and then they're kind of wanting you to pay on, we're going to add more stuff later.
Oh. Yeah,
well, that's the same as most video games these days, even the WWE ones. Yeah. 2K's been running that model for ages, where it's hey, you buy the base game now on the promise that we are going to add extra stuff later. That's just the way gaming is these days. But for a game like Retromania, the guys behind it, from what I've read in interviews and stuff like that, these guys are big fans. They're wanting to make sure that they get the best experience possible for the people that are playing.
Yeah.
So when they say that they're going to deliver like good DLC down the track, like I'm having a look at the post-launch DLC of James Storm, Mr. Hughes, and Chris Bay. That's actually not so bad.
Yeah, I mean, plus it's like hard. The WWE has everybody locked down. So,
yeah, that's the thing. You also got to look at like AEW as well, NWA, Impact Wrestling as well. A lot of these guys that they've signed are either working on independent contracts or they've actually signed on with other companies as well. So there's a lot of finagling that goes around.
I mean, and AEW's making their own game now, so they're definitely not going to let their wrestlers be in there. So
yeah, I'm just looking over the roster and I'm like, yeah, no him, hang out with him. So it's like, Tommy Dreamer, been there, met him, had some great conversations with him. I've hung out with Nick Aldis a couple of times, Mr. Mickey James, as we like to tease him. Colt Cabana and I actually go way back, and that's not a great friendship. And I've even met Johnny Retro, so it's one of these games where it's like, I know half this roster.
Yeah, that too. It's the licensure ownership. I mean, to me, $30 could be considered on the high end, but is there any other wrestling games out there besides people living their Fire Pro fantasies and playing?
Yeah, I mean, that Battlegrounds game is awful too.
Oh my God, that's not even mention that game, please.
Battlegrounds.
To the next closest competitor would be Fire Pro Wrestling, and look at how much they're charging for that.
Yeah.
You got the base game of Fire Pro, then they want you to spend all this extra on the
but they did have that time with New Japan and all that.
So it's still a very expensive game. So $30 for something like this, to be honest, is good value.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all you played, Sean. So it's fair enough. We'll take you out of the hot seat. Matt, you're up. What you been playing, bud?
All right. So let's go. Let me pull up my
oh dear God.
List. All right. So
you actually have a list?
Yeah, I have a list actually because I actually wrote it down. So I played, 62 hours of Slay the Spire this week. I'm sorry, 33.7 hours of Slay the Spire this week. I played Scavengers for about 4 hours. I played a lot of Phantasy Star Online 2. I played some Streets of Rage to get my hands back in it. I played some Next Machina. I played both King of Fighters UM98 and King of Fighters 02. And I played Sam & Max Season 3. Trying to play that with Cassie just because we both like point-and-click adventure games. Episode 4, Rise of the Dolls. Is it Beyond Alley of Dolls? Sorry, those are Rise of Dolls. So that's all that I've been playing. And I've been trying to get some more games because of the the Golden Week Steam sale. So yeah. So you've been playing Scavengers as well? Anybody else playing Scavengers?
Oh hell yes! That game is Matt. What? I told you I was playing this game like last week, and you're playing it now.
Yeah, I'm playing it because I got nothing else better to do.
We have to play it. Yeah, we got to talk about it. Actually, you know what? Let's talk about that for a second. What do you like the most in Scavengers?
I like how dumb the AI is. They run into walls and I kill them. I love that. It just makes my life easier.
Not all the AI are dumb.
What? I love that. That's my favorite part of the game. It makes me feel like I'm smart big boy gaming.
Okay, let me rephrase that. What do you think about having a battle royale with PvP and PvE?
Though I think it's interesting, it's good. I ran into some games where I only had to play against. How many games I played? Maybe less than 6. I had nobody in the game, which made me a little sad. That I couldn't find people to play with. But I did play myself. But playing with other people seems to be it's fun and interesting. So far, I only have 3 characters. I want to unlock the rest, see what they do, or you can't. It's a beta. I do feel like
you can.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, okay, good. Because only. And it's an interesting concept. It does pretty well, as well as the PvE aspects help you gear up for the PvP aspects, so you know what you're doing later. I think that's really good. My current complaint in the game is generally that to unlock things and items of research is locked behind loot boxes. Or I'm sorry, resources of research. It's loot boxes.
Research. Yeah.
Yeah,
and that research system is a little hard. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, it doesn't. I think it's very brutal, and I think it's them. If this game comes out as free, or if this game comes out with a low purchase price, or hell, worse, full retail price, I can see this feeling a bit scammy that you pay, full retail price, and you may be encouraged to buy loot boxes to unlock items to get more equipment.
I think it's supposed to be free.
Oh wow, okay. So none of them justify loot boxes. Other than that, netcode's been solid. It's been fun. I've been playing with Harkin, the soldier with the double heal, and in a base character. I never used a sniper character yet.
All right, fair enough. Karl, what about you, bud?
Oh, this has been a very busy, couple of weeks for me because we haven't done this in 3 weeks or something like that.
2.
Wow, I got a lot done in 2 weeks. That's a quite surprise for me. Starting things out, before I jumped into going and seeing the Mortal Kombat movie, I decided to replay. Well, I only saw it the first time, and then I streamed it the rest of the times.
Okay, fair enough.
Hey, look, good movie, good. Go read my review over at theouterhaven.net because, reviews are good things. But before I went and saw that, I decided to jump back in and replay Mortal Kombat 9, where they did the reboot for the storyline. I don't know, because I went back and tried playing Armageddon for a whole of 5 minutes and went, no. Because that game was trash. And I figured, might as well play stuff on the PS3, and why not? I also did go back and start playing Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks as well, because that was one of my favorite games on the PS2. Because that was actually a fun game.
Great.
Yeah, for a game that was non-canon, that was absolutely brilliant. I wish that either they'd redo it as a remaster or something like that, or even if Xbox could find a way to get the rights from Warner Brothers to make it backwards compatible, that would be great. Because it is one of those games on Xbox that is not backwards compatible after the Xbox 360. So it's and that only puts the price up, and I hate having to pay. I'm currently looking at another copy for $50. I'm like, no. But
surprised they haven't tried to do that with the way NetherRealm wants to put out all this content now with Mortal Kombat. Why not?
Yeah,
I guess it would cost them more money than they want to spend.
Pretty much. They also have to go through approval through Warner Brothers, because Warner Brothers actually owns the IP.
Yeah, that's true.
So NetherRealm is still developing the games like they did as they were Midway, but all the rights and everything actually are with Warner Brothers, which makes it even harder because Warner Brothers, well, they're tight asses. Other games I did play. I actually also played my way through Arkham Origins, because I believe Cam was also playing his way through the Arkham series, and it sort of got me going, hey, I should play them again. So I played my way all the way through Arkham Origins, which is a highly underrated title out of that series because it's not made by Rocksteady, but playing the game, you don't know the difference. It's people should be playing more of this, and it should have been included in the Return to Arkham set on PS4, which I jumped into afterwards, and I've only just started playing Arkham Asylum again for the first time in quite a while. And then there was the big thing for this particular week, which was photographing Pokemon. Yeah, I'm one of the people who picked up new Pokemon Snap, and I've already dumped something along the lines of 15 plus hours into it already.
Over the course of how many days, though?
3.
Only 15 hours?
Yeah, unfortunately, I had to sleep and do other things and be an adult. And, put out the video review that's currently out on our YouTube channel.
I'm sorry, say it again. I didn't hear that. Say it again.
The review for new Pokemon Snap is available on the Outerhaven YouTube channel.
That's pretty cool. Awesome. All right.
Yeah, so that was pretty much my last couple of weeks. And I also had to apologize once again to Square Enix because I haven't started Final 14 like I've been promising them for the last 3 months.
Yeah, you should get on that.
We should.
All right, and for myself, I've been playing nothing but Returnal, which is a game that it's very near and dear to my heart. At first, I really hated it, but I really enjoy it now, other than some glitches. Tried to go back to play Outriders. Yeah, I can't
Stop
do that.
Playing that game. I told you it was crap from day one from the gutter, man.
I can't. I'm done. I can't play it anymore. There's still too many issues. They haven't addressed all the problems. The end game or lack of end game is completely boring. I really wanted this game to succeed, and it's bleeding people nonstop, bleeding people. I did a video about it, and every day I keep looking to see how many people are actually playing this game, and I'm actually gonna go back and check it right now to see how many people are playing it. Oh wow, the peak went up. It actually went down to 25,000 people, but as of Yesterday, it peaked at 29,000. That's still more than less or more than half the people that were playing before. It peaked at one point 124,000 people. Well, this is on Steam alone. And now it's at 29. So it lost quite a bit of people playing it. So there's that. I was going to play the Resident Evil demo. We'll talk about that later. I did not, just because, I kind of wanted to go into the game completely fresh. So we'll see how it happens later on with the game coming out, which is this Friday. So that'll be interesting to see. Other than that, yeah, I'm done. I haven't played many games other than this Returnal and Outriders. And Outriders will be removed from my machine as soon as I start my other machine back up. No more. I'm done. Completely done. All right, and since we're talking about that, hey, Karl, did you want to talk a little bit more about the Pokemon Snap and what you like about it, what's different from the old version to the new version?
Well, considering that it almost be spoiling my review, which people should be going out and finding on the Outerhaven YouTube channel, sure, why not? I can spend a little bit of time promoting that. Basically, new Pokemon Snap is the game that we've been waiting for multiple generations. For fans who originally played this on Nintendo 64, you're going to feel right at home straight away. It does use a lot of the same mechanics from the original, just updated with a more HD look and, of course, updated Pokemon for the more newer generations of the games than us old farts who like our red, blues, and yellows. Not really much more to say about it in general. It's the same. You take photographs, you get ranked on those photographs. They have expanded it a bit instead of the one photo per Pokemon type thing that you had in the original. You now can take up to 4, which is based on a star ranking, which is 1 through 4 stars, depending on the type of shot that you take or the type of action the Pokemon's doing or something like that. The more special the action, the higher ranking it gets. But then on that, you've got your scoring as well, which gives you like a bronze through diamond ranking on the individual photo. So it really encourages you to go back multiple times, try multiple things, look in different directions and areas in order to get that perfect, diamond shot for each of those 4 rankings. The courses do feel short at times, but they are packed from end to end with all sorts of Pokemon doing all sorts of different things. You do have your apples again, where you can use those to either lead them to different areas or use them to wake them up or trigger certain actions. You also have the newest effects, which is Luminor Orbs, which basically just make the Pokemon glow. And with some of these, there are changes that happen with the Luminor Orb effect. Like, for one example is you find a Score Bunny doing a flaming kick. When he does it normally, it's the standard, red, yellow, fire effect. But you throw a Luminor Orb at him, which gives him a blue glow, turns his fire blue as well. So that becomes a more rarer photograph to take.
Wait, so there are newer Pokemon in this game then?
Yes, it is based on, I believe, the current era. I believe the most recent one, the
Sword and
Switch.
Shield, I believe.
Yeah,
Sword and Shield. Yeah. But there are a lot of retro Pokemon in it. Like there are I have found like Metapods, Arbok, Pikachus, Raichus. There's like Laprases, Magikarps. Even sort of mid stuff like Bidoof everywhere. But so it does, even though it does favor the sort of later generations, there are still some of the more classic Pokemon in there for those of us who, grew up with Pokemon series. But for more in-depth insight and basically my overall thoughts, feelings, and everything else, as I've already mentioned a couple of times, please go to the Outerhaven YouTube channel and go and click on the new Pokemon Snap review. It'll only take you less than 5 minutes to sit there and watch what I've done. And yeah, you get the full review there. You'll also be able to read our full review as well, hopefully in a few days' time on the outerhaven.net, which will be done by Todd Black.
Thank you for that, Karl. And since we're talking about games we played and going a little more in depth, let's take a couple minutes and talk about Returnal. Now, Matt's going to probably jump in and say some things as well because he watched me play it when I first streamed it because we got the code thanks to Sony. So thank you for that again, PlayStation. But since then, I've gone ahead and deleted my entire game or my gameplay, and I started afresh this morning because I was determined to get through the first part of the game, the second part of the game, and hopefully beat it within 10 hours. I think, again, the game is a great game. It's a decent roguelite. I know Matt's going to jump in and say, no, it's not. I enjoy the gunplay. I enjoy the storyline. The storyline is actually interesting. I want to get to the end to figure out what exactly is going on. But I will say this, after playing this game for as long as I've been playing, and it's not very long, the game has gotten a lot easier. The combat has grown on me. I know what I'm doing now. Once you understand the mechanics and the system, things work to your advantage. And I also understand why they have that restart cycle right in the beginning of the game. You hit the start button, you go, hey, I want to restart my cycle because maybe you're getting very bad rolls and the malfunctions aren't going your way. Because if you get a certain amount of malfunctions, just give up.
Yeah,
you just simply just give up. The game is pretty much giving you nothing but major debuffs. It even got to the point where it tells you if you have 2 malfunctions on you, the next one you get is going to be critical, and it starts doing things like deleting keys and deleting items. And
there's your ammo,
like, hey,
slowly drain health.
It's like, hey, this is not good stuff. And then you got the parasites that also make it worse as well. It's like, yeah. I like the idea.
At least the parasites make sense. It's 50-50. You're getting a buff or a nerf.
But the problem is if you get so many parasites and their debuffs start stacking and they become more of a pain than the buffs they're giving you, and you can't get rid of the parasites unless you find a certain machine in the game that will take it off. And even then, it's random parasites that will take off. So I was doing it today, and I was like, oh, great. Maybe it'll take off the parasites that I don't want. Because I had one that would basically give me back health if I got low. And of course, the machine got rid of the one that gave me health when I got low and kept the crappy ones. I was like, I can't win. But I'm going to have a full review on the Outerhaven within a couple of days.
I don't think it's a bad roguelike. I think it's below standard. Now, I've played a lot of roguelikes that are just garbage tier. I would not recommend anyone unless you hate yourself and you think you're more skillful than the system.
Come on. I know it's eating you up. So just go ahead and say it. I know you want to say it. I'm giving you permission to say it.
Say what?
The game that you're talking about. Say it. Say one. Just
Skull Hero.
Yep, there it is.
There we go. Skull Hero is an example. Is just a beta example I use of just what a bad roguelike is. That's just an example of what a bad one is. A hard roguelike, I would consider something like Rogue Legacy 1, because it takes more resources to grind to get the power-ups to win the game, and that's just insanity for any human being. Just to have a decent time in the game. Returnal's issues are that how the roles are and the rewards for the roles can be like varying, such as HP is important in this game, obviously. So your ways of maintaining health, obviously LOL get good, is to use the bed to heal, Keith, right? Which is only once, and only heals, Keith, if you could confirm, like 20% HP, not even like 50 or half.
Well, it depends, but there's other ways of actually getting health back. As I found out today, there are certain malfunctions that will
there's malfunctions that heal you, but they come as a debuff that you I'm talking about just general flat healing.
Yeah, you have to pick up the items that are on the ground, pick up the malfunction items on the ground as well.
The med packs can only use once, etc. But it's like, but I'm talking about like just a flat healing thing. Like, you find this room, you get healed. You find this, get healed. Yeah, very limited. That's not. I
will say this again, going back to the malfunctions. I got really lucky and picked up one that basically would heal me every time I killed an enemy, which was great. Because it was great. So let me explain. I'm not going to go into depth about everything with this game because, again, my review is coming up. I will say this game has a lot of glitches that need to be addressed, and it is really souring my enjoyment with the game, and I know other people are getting upset with it as well. Earlier today, I had what is considered a perfect run. I had 2 large health packs. I had the astronaut that will bring you back to life if you died. I had another parasite that would absorb a killing hit and keep me going. And I went to the house to continue the story, and the game glitched on me. It would not trigger the part they needed for me to get out of the house. So I was stuck in the house, and I was highly upset because I was doing great. So I had to restart the game because there was no way I could start to recycle in there. So I did it again. And I was like, oh, maybe the game just glitched. I'll go back to the house. And guess what happened? I went back to the house. It glitched again. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Because apparently there's an item in the house that I needed, which was the music box. And sorry for spoilers, people, but yeah. So I waited a half an hour. I turned off my PlayStation, turned it back on, went back to the house again. But this time I did things out of order. I didn't touch I touched one item first, then touched the other item secondly, and then I was able to get out the house. So I was like, oh, that's nice. I got an item out of it that I lost because I died. And I was like, all right, I am never going back into that damn house again, which is a problem because that house is part of the story. Yeah. That is a major problem.
It's actually part of the game. That's what they did. That's my inner joke. But I feel like Returnal is a subpar roguelike when it comes to playing other type of roguelikes. Outside the glitches aside, they can allegedly be patched, quotation mark, but I believe they're part of the game because, come on, that's roguelikes. Just lose, not win.
I'll be honest with you, Matt. The more I've started playing the game, I thought of it less of being a roguelike. I just thought of it more of an action game. And I know yesterday I said this is not an action game, but the more and more I played it, as I would start to weed out what things will work best for me and which ones don't, and I ignored certain things, and I just pew to half the encounters.
True. But
there is a lot of there are other games in here.
It's still a roguelike. I mean, it's like saying Enter the Gungeon's not a shoot 'em up. It's still a shoot 'em up and a roguelike.
Well, that's what I was saying though. Their other major genre is bullet hells, so they incorporated a lot of that in here and also made it a roguelike.
Yeah, and again for me, I just felt like the action segments were. My brain was like, Keith, this is something you do all the time. You got this. And that's what helped me get through a lot of the encounters. Again, I steamrolled through the first two bosses within the first 2 hours. It was like, this is easy. The only reason I died to the second boss once is because my puppy yanked my PlayStation controller out of the PlayStation.
Oh, no.
I was like, you mother boop, what are you doing?
I feel like a dog is, again, helping you with the experience.
Because my DualSense, my primary DualSense had died. So I put it in a charger. So I plugged up the second one via USB cable, and he's pulling on it. And I'm like, get away. Then I took my eyes off him for a second, and he went yank, and I was like, and I died. Got back to him the second time, killed him, wasn't a problem. I think out of the first two bosses, the first boss was actually harder. The second boss is way easier. His attacks are telegraphed so easy.
Yeah. Oh, how do you feel about the? I think this happened. I don't know how many times you played the not the third boss. Third boss is whatever.
The third boss is what the fuck bonkers.
The third boss is LOL. I've seen somebody try to do the shotgun challenge, build the shotgun. I was laughing because it's come on, Kate, you do a shotgun, right?
I was actually using the shotgun. It was actually pretty decent until I found another weapon.
Yeah. But it's not winning you any. It's not winning your dog and pony show. But how did you feel about the first boss when you dodge it and it still does a melee and you'll like take damage? Or
I jump and dodge.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, there we go. Okay, you figured it out. All right,
yeah. As I saw, because he'll do the barrier on the ground. It comes towards you, and he's getting ready to charge. I'm like, yep, I'm gonna jump and dodge, and he doesn't touch you.
Yeah, people have to learn that one. People do not do that right. It's like, oh, why is hitting me on dodging? Nope, jump and dodge. There you go. Yeah, you learned. All right, yeah. But I think it's like I said, it's a game. I would not pay $60 for it. I would honestly.
It's not worth the $60. It's
no.
The more I play it, the more my opinions of the game have changed. Obviously, that's how things work. I think it's a good game. Originally, I thought I would said that this would be a game that would help sell PlayStations, and I think it's because in the back of my head, it's like this is like one of the only other games that you can only play on PlayStation right now. That's worthwhile. Demon's Souls, Spider-Man. Yeah, it is a fun game. I will say this. My cousin came over today, and we were talking about games, and he was like, "I'm playing Returnal," and I turned my head because I'm like, I didn't think you would be the kind of person that would play this kind of game. So,
if your console's no games, you're gonna probably play something on it.
So, yeah, I was surprised when he said that. I was really surprised. He's like, "Yeah, I gotta go home and finish playing." And I'm like, "Wow, you don't like Dark Souls, but you like this game? Okay, all right, we're good, whatever." But yeah, again, look for my review. I'll have my fleshed out opinions on that about the game. But right now, I'm enjoying it. I just want to get past the third boss and call it a day. I'm trying to beat this under 10 hours. Yeah, I'm enjoying it, but the glitches really are problematic, and Housemarque needs to do something about them.
Yeah, I mean, we could just play Vest Machina. That's always fun.
Which is a great game.
Yeah, it's more. Yeah, I recently tried to climb the leaderboards #1 in that, and I realized I'm stuck in like the thousands, and I'm like, these people are too good. I can't do this.
People are still playing it though. That's very surprising because everybody kept saying Housemarque games don't sell good outside of anything with the PlayStation. And I'm like, well, they only had one game outside the PlayStation.
It's more like they don't play other games. I don't know what games they make. And you're like, of course you don't, because you're you. That's usually Mark. I say people like that. Like there's other.
They got tons. Alienation, Stardust. Yeah, exactly. Stardust is great. Next Machina, which is great. Resogun, fantastic game. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're done for Returnal. I want to talk about tall ladies with big butts and high heels that people want them to step on them. I don't want them to step on me. Of course, we're talking about Resident Evil Village because people are going gaga over this game, and the game's not even out yet. But people are, I'm pretty sure you've seen all the million memes on the internet right now. It's kind of a scary thing. I don't know anybody who wants somebody in high heels step on their head because that sounds very painful.
The cool kids are sadists. The cool kids are masochists now.
You're saying I'm cool because I'm a masochist. I play Dark Souls.
See, that's different. No. Dude, that's video game masochism. I'm talking about real life masochism.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're not there yet. No.
Okay. For this one, I want Karl to talk about Resident Evil because I know he had an experience regarding Resident Evil Village when it was first announced. Karl, I want to tell you something, buddy. I went through my Google Drive today and I found your outtake. I found it.
That would be the original announcement where everything that was leaked and everything I hated about those leaks was confirmed, and I just
Karl
sat there
was
going, no. I will be honest, and I said this from the very beginning. If this turns out to be something decent, then I will humbly eat crow and admit I was wrong. At this point in time, having been one of the people who have actually played the castle not the castle demo, the actual village demo, the first one that came out.
You want hot sauce ketchup? What you want?
Which you can find the gameplay video of that on the Outerhaven YouTube channel. Yes, I will take. I'll happy just have some straight up ketchup on my humble pie.
There you go.
It's looking better than what I found my experiences with Resident Evil 7, but I will caveat this with a but. At this point, I'm happy to play it. I will actually be the one doing the review for it, but they still have a lot more to go to impress me before I will call this a Resident Evil game. At this point, I still don't see it as a Resident Evil franchise. It's a different story. It's a different style. It's like playing something that wasn't supposed to be Resident Evil. They had a horror experience. They've slapped a Resident Evil name on it. It's sold. So now they're following up with more.
Okay,
so yeah,
that's
me. You know.
But other than that,
no, I do not. No, I do not want a 9-foot woman to fucking choke me in and step on my throat and all that other stuff that the internet says. That's just wrong.
The internet is weird. But let's talk about this. Who else is excited for this game? I know, Karl, you are. I know I am. Who else is excited for this game? I think just Sean, because I don't think Matt's going to play it.
Yeah, and I'll play it later, but I want to try it out. I played that first demo, the maiden demo, and that was cool, like exploring that area, and just I like the aesthetic of the world and everything, and the vampires, and will be cool once you get out. I haven't played the other demos to be able to see what it's like to get out of that area, but
no, the new demo is actually out as of time of recording, where you get the 60-minute demo.
I'm going to play it now. I was waiting for the trainer for the PC version to come out. Guess what's out right now? There's a trainer out right now, so I guess I'll be playing that.
Yeah, the PC version is out, and there is a trick to being able to reset that 1 hour time limit on the.
Nope, you don't even need that anymore. You don't even need anymore. There's a trainer out now that disables the demo play time.
Oh, even better.
Even better. Looks like I'll be playing it after all.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you, Master PC.
Because we need footage for the video review that will be eventually out on the Outerhaven YouTube channel.
Yes. But I won't be playing it tonight because I got to go to sleep because Keith needs sleep or he won't function properly. But to be honest with you, this is one of the games. I wasn't a big fan of what they were doing for 7, but I accepted it a little bit more than you did. But when they announced Village, I was on top of it, especially some of the parts where it reminded me, the combat reminded me of, I'm going to say it, Dark Souls, especially when they were showing the part where the werewolves were coming out after Ethan and he was trying to fend them off. That reminded me so much of Dark Souls just because of the aesthetic and the design. And I really hate saying that because it's not good. Too many people do that, but that's the first thing that came to my mind. I did play the maiden demo as well. I thought that was really good. I loved the sound design. I loved the art design. It looked amazing. And I've heard nothing but great stuff for the other demos. I just didn't want to try them because I thought how Capcom was doing it was very stupid. Was not a fan of, only 30 minutes for the demo? And then it was it?
Yeah, 30 minutes total playtime. The first Village gameplay on average took about 20 minutes to finish, so you'd have like 10 minutes left over, and then once you hit that 10 minutes, it just cuts out.
Yeah, it's stupid.
The castle demo supposedly was all of 6 minutes if you speed through it.
Because you were worried about the timer. But now, well, at least the PC people don't have to worry about that. So that is good to know. I guess I'll play it tomorrow and upload some footage. Of course, a glorious 4K, which means it'll take a year for it to encode because YouTube is slow. I cannot wait for this game to come out. It's been a long time coming. Just waiting to see what happens with the direction of Resident Evil. Really, I'm looking forward to seeing what Capcom is doing.
I'm just also interested. It's like, I don't know, like, there's been some weird marketing for this. In Japan, there was like some sort of puppet play video.
I saw that.
Like, which is absolutely hilarious, which I recommend anybody, if you can find it, go watch it. It's just so over the top weird and like that outlandish Japanese concept that you have to watch it. You can't actually describe it. You've got to watch it. And then there's like Capcom of America doing their marketing for it, and I've got in trouble for saying this on our Discord channel, where they hired Yaya Han to play Lady Dimitrescu.
Will's coming after you now. He knows you said it.
You pay a 5 foot, like 3-4 woman to play a 9 foot woman. Yeah, that's good appropriation.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and the thing is, I have seen actual women from Europe who stand like 6'6", 7 foot tall, cosplaying this character to perfection, and they're all over like social media, like Twitter and all that. Capcom couldn't see these people and go, "Hey, can we hire you to be our spokeswoman for this game? And we'll pay you some money to." But no, because virus.
It's just a cheap. You gotta understand. Sometimes being cheap is the way.
I understand that.
Yeah, it's like, but
that's why we all work for free. Because it's cheap.
The cheap. Yeah, like my take on Resident Evil. I played 7. It didn't do. I mean, it was kind of alright. It didn't do anything for me. I beat the demo that was on PS4, and I played the PC demo. I think it's kind of interesting, but it's not. I don't know. Very few horror games do it for me. So this Resident Evil doesn't like maybe go up or down on it. So I'm expecting to be good. I'm expecting good memes. I'm expecting some decent YouTubes or streaming or VTubers doing some jokes about it. But other than that, I don't think I'll be buying the game on launch. Maybe further down the line. Because 7 didn't do it for me. It wasn't even a bad game. Just didn't do it for me. Also,
I said the same thing when I reviewed 7. I said it wasn't a bad game. It was actually a great VR experience. I just didn't call it a Resident Evil game, which copped a lot of crap online.
Don't wait for my Resident Evil 4 HD remake again.
Oh god, no more. God damn it, that game needs to die a horrible death.
I'm sorry, did you say Resident Evil, which one?
Resident Evil 4 remake, HD remake, HD remake, yeah.
Karl loves that game, don't you, Karl?
Yeah,
absolutely.
What are you buying? What are you selling?
But just quickly, I actually want to get Sean's take as well on Resident Evil Village, but I will also just put this out today quickly. We have had an interesting development in the sort of retro modding community.
It wasn't me.
Where a Resident Evil fan has actually gone and patched the original and missing game content between the different versions of the original Resident Evil on PlayStation, all into the one package in like a true director's cut, which includes the original color opening, fully uncensored. Some locations have had like items placed back in that were cut, or textures placed back in that were cut in the original retail edition. So you can find that at your local retro modding website, and you can go play that fun stuff. But Sean, Resident Evil Village, what do you think?
I mean, everything I've seen so far, it's been pretty great, just like Resident Evil. I mean, I played Resident Evil 7 in VR, and that was an experience. So, like, getting to see them evolve this and, like, tune into a different place than, what we're normally used to seeing with Resident Evil games. I'm, like, I want to see where this all goes and how this evolves from just, the vampire ladies that we've seen. What are the Lycans? I like the story, I think, is what is intriguing me. Like, we know kind of what, Resident Evil is. If there's going to be any Is there going to be any surprise like zombie characters in here at all? But yeah,
I don't think we're going to get sort of the traditional zombies, but there have been like the followers of the main family. You've got the werewolves, the lichens, and then you've got sort of these guys that we've seen in the trailers where they're stumbling around in like the sewers and stuff like that. So they're sort of, and I hate having to make this. They're almost like the cultists in Resident Evil 4.
Oh, yeah,
there's been a lot
that hurt to say.
A lot of people have been saying that it has a lot of similarities to 4, though. I've seen a lot of people talking about that. So
it does very much have that feel.
It's a good game
actually
to pull from, though. So.
I mean,
you're banned, Sean. That's it. Get the fuck out. You're gone.
He hates Resident Evil.
Oh, how dare you!
Resident Evil 4 to Karl is pretty much like when Fire Emblem turned waifu. Once Fire Emblem became waifu, it's the Resident Evil 4. That's what I describe it. Sean, do you play Fire Emblem?
Wait, what?
What?
Sean, have you played the Fire Emblem series?
Oh, Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem.
Yes.
No, I'm not a Fire Emblem.
Okay, yeah. Basically, Fire Emblem is, and I respect it, a great strategy RPG. But later on, its modern intake that saved the franchise became a waifu, kind of a waifu game because it made the support conversation easier. That's the call. The fact they went to the straight streamlined route is Resident Evil 4.
Genshin Impact before Genshin.
Yeah, basically, Genshin Impact for Genshin Impact. Yeah, the main.
But I'm actually curious on just while we'll set the topic a little bit. I know Keith wants to go to sleep, so this is why we're keeping him up.
No.
I'm actually curious. I'm actually curious as somebody who played Resident Evil, like you played Resident Evil 7 with the VR headset and the VR experience. I actually played it with just TV and controller because I don't have the equipment. Yeah. What was sort of the experience with the VR? What type of freedom did it give you, or did you find it restrictive? Do you feel that it's sort of one of those things where adding the VR would add to the experience more, or does it take away from the experience?
Well, I mean, it's certainly they're more... Yeah. So the VR experience, you're still using the controller, right? So, like, it's still sort of the same, except for the fact that everything's, like, even more in your face, right? So, like, sometimes it feels like you can, like, feel like the monster's there, and, like, it feels like you can hear the sounds more, and it's just there's more intensity to it. Like I never really felt scared playing Resident Evil 7 on the just normal. On the VR, I was like, holy shit, okay, this is something. Like this is there were some frights, like I was like, holy crap. It wasn't one of those where like I had to take the VR off and throw it all, throw it on the bed or whatever, but it was like one of those like, okay, take a second. Breathe, let's go.
So it wasn't just what I was originally thinking it was, where basically they've used the VR system as just a free roam camera type thing.
Yeah. I mean, there is that. There is that as well. It's just, it lets you play the game just with VR. So,
fair enough. Like I can understand. Like I understand what you're getting at because I have played some VR games by PlayStation. I got my chance to play Skyrim in VR of all things, and that didn't end well. I almost had to pay $500 for the headset that Sony was providing.
Damn.
I'm an arachnophobic, and
you
go down into a dungeon where there's a big spider boss.
Demon Soul says hi.
Yeah, Demon Souls can fuck right off. And I had no problem with it. I played Skyrim before. I've gone up against the boss before. But for some reason, as soon as I got to the doorway, and I know I'd been going down towards a spider's nest because I was hitting all these little spiders on the way down, as soon as I heard the characters go, oh, let her deal with him, and I see the big leg come down right in front of me with the VR headset on, I almost threw the thing across the room. Like, I had to get that off my head straight away because as soon as I saw that and the spider's like right in my face, I'm like, nope, I'm out. So I can understand that the way that the headset would expand the experience. Yeah. And I think that could have been what I was personally missing in my Resident Evil 7 review was that VR experience, and it might be the same with Village as well, because that also supports VR.
No, it doesn't.
Does it?
It doesn't. Nope.
Oh, wow.
And I wouldn't say that missing VR would ruin your experience because it was only available VR on PlayStation. PC did not have any VR support whatsoever. Yeah. Sony paid for that, and it was like, all right, great.
But that's because the PC has like 4,000 different headsets owned by 800 different companies.
But they normally support it. Most headsets, if not all headsets, support Steam VR. Sony pretty much had it on lockdown. They didn't let anybody else have it, which is
I mean, until now, Sony has really tried to. They were kind of trying to keep everything locked down to the PSVR. Now, Jim Ryan, with the expanding stuff to PC, has said that they want to work with the other VR people. So we'll see if PSVR 2 has more games that go out to other VR players or not.
It's going to be interesting, not to sidetrack it, how PSVR 2 works, especially going up against fingers in the air, gold standard being the Quest 2 being untethered, and now everybody's moving stuff to the Quest 2, and it's going to be interesting to see. It'll be interesting.
I'm just glad that there's new controllers that go with that system because I wasn't paying.
You don't like the wands?
$100 for those freaking wands. I was like, no, it's not just gonna go play without those things.
They weren't very good. All right, so we'll be talking a lot about Resident Evil Village when it comes out this week. On the 7th. Yeah. Hopefully we'll be streaming it. We'll find out. We're not exactly sure. Either way. All right, guys. So actually, Sean, I'm going to have you lead this one if you don't mind, because there's been a lot of talk about Microsoft making some changes to the Microsoft Store for Xbox Game Pass, PC, and a bunch of other stuff. So, Sean, you mind spearheading this one, buddy?
Yeah. So, I mean, this came out in the last couple of days. And then, of course, Tom Warren over at The Verge had another thing today that kind of it would have been nice to have. We were talking about it, Keith, yesterday, but sometimes that's how news works. So Microsoft wants to make changes to the Windows Microsoft Store, and they also want to, I guess, make their move of doing more for PC. They tend to be that way on and off, where they will do that, and they have PC Game Pass. So now their big thing is that they want to equal Epic's move to just taking a cut of 12% for devs. So basically trying to encourage devs to make games for Windows Store or for Microsoft. And then a caveat was added today by the Verge article that Microsoft is also trying to tie in, if you bring a game over to our store, we get the cloud streaming rights. So essentially they could put it into cloud streaming Game Pass, which also means it could be put into what we have now, which Keith has been playing and I've been playing, that cloud gaming beta on the browser. You could play it on your PC through the cloud, and eventually on Xbox, because it's going to be on Xbox Series consoles as well. We just don't know when. Possibly when Halo comes out, I guess. Yeah, I mean, so they want to make changes to the store. They want to try to get people to make games for it. And they also want to add another thing with including cloud gaming, so that you can possibly, when they push cloud gaming beyond the consoles and eventually have those TV apps and the Microsoft Fire Stick, whatever that thing's going to be called, you can have more games on that thing.
So it's interesting. Also, thank you for that. It's interesting to see that Microsoft is actually doing what Epic is doing. There's a little side note to that is the note that they said that they might also do this for their console versions of Game Pass or for the Xbox Store. But Microsoft came back and said, we have nothing for that. That document's a lie. Ignore us. Which would be interesting because Microsoft, Sony charge 30% on those stores. But getting back to the Microsoft Store, for anybody who plays games on PC, at one point or another, you actually tried to download a game off the Microsoft Store or Xbox Store if you're using Xbox Game Pass for PC, and it is atrocious. So there is talk that Microsoft is revamping that. And I wouldn't say it's probably more than talk. Microsoft has said in the past they aren't happy with it. They know gamers aren't happy with it, and they want to fix that. So a whole bunch of stuff is supposed to happen with that. Native 32 apps with that, be able to bring games over from Steam or Epic Games Store and bring them directly into the Xbox Store or the Microsoft Store. So it's a lot of stuff they're being talked about in the background. We'll have to wait till Microsoft officially says something. But going back to this 12%, so from 70-30 to 88-12, again, following Epic Games Store, the problem is right now, as we mentioned the other day, Sean, why do this now? Why do this when your store is still garbage? You want to make it more. You want to make it incentive for developers to bring their stuff for publishers to bring their stuff from Epic Games Store and from Steam over to your Microsoft store or Windows Store or whatever they want to call it. When it's such an abysmal train wreck, developers know how bad the store is. Why would they do that? Other than, yes, getting their stuff on Xbox Game Pass, which is part of the thing. I would have waited to my new store, to my new front and the back end was finalized and announced and shown to be working well before I say, hey, here's an incentive. Because you can offer me free, but if I know that nobody's going to download my stuff because people avoid the Windows Store like a plague, what is the point? The incentive doesn't make anything.
Games take time to make, so if you go ahead and announce it now, by the time you start working and do stuff with that store, you have games to put on it.
But that's later games. What about games right now? I'm like, why would somebody who has a game on Steam, want to go ahead and bring my game to the Xbox Games or the Microsoft Store right now? Meaning I have to do extra work to get it ported. Bring the new store out first, then show me how easy it is, then have me decide to do it. They're doing things backwards. In my opinion, they're doing it backwards. And then it also goes with the whole, hey, Microsoft's putting games on Steam. It's like, what is your strategy here, Microsoft?
They want to be everywhere. That's their whole whole strategy.
And I love it, but you make the game and you put the game on Steam, and then everybody is happy. All the games are in one place and everybody profits. As a PC gamer, as somebody who loves PC gaming, I understand where they're coming from. I avoid downloading games off of the Microsoft Store if I have to. The only reason I do it now is because of Xbox Game Pass for PC. That is it. If the game wasn't in my subscription, I would not be downloading it off the Microsoft Store. And then there have been times I've literally pulled out my hair and got frustrated because you would try and install a game and it would start installing and they go, hey, I can't finish installing, or I can't install right now, or I can't install this game into this directory right now. I was like, what is going on? Why are you so busted? I go to Steam, I hit install. Hey, install, done. At the end of the day, they're making their money. Just put everything on Steam or bring out the new storefront first, show people that it works, then offer the incentive. Don't do it backwards. It doesn't make any sense.
See, Keith, you're doing too much. It makes sense to do it backwards, so when it fails, they can blame the backwardness. Come on, man. You have to make your excuses before you make your product.
It's like you went and you're putting all your games on the Steam. And I'm not advocating to say Steam is the end-all be-all, but I will say this. When somebody makes a game and they went on to get it installed, they put it on Steam. That's typically what they do.
Well, yeah. I mean, it has the largest install base.
You know, and I want to say real quick for people that listen to it and say it's a monopoly. It's not a monopoly. Steam is not putting a gun to your head and say put it on here. Steam is saying if you want to take advantage of our services and get your game into millions upon people, you want to put it here. If you don't want that, put it on Epic Games Store.
You can make your own store.
Make your own.
You can make your own storefront and fail.
Exactly. They're not stopping you. They're not stopping you. They're literally not stopping you. But they know what they offer.
Yeah.
You know, you can send your mail via the post office, or you can drive your mail to wherever it goes. Hopefully, they're overseas, because then you're screwed.
No, exactly. And that's what it's like. Yo, yeah. I kind of feel like, though, it's like I think Microsoft is dipping their feet in everywhere because they don't know what direction they want to go with, and people aren't talking about. They don't know where they want to go. I feel like they're just kind of lost in the weeds because they're trying to find, or one might say desperately trying to find a strategy that will define them or make them themselves best in the market. That's what I think about them. I
wouldn't say that, but I want to say this, Matt. For Microsoft to have been saying for years that they support the PC, but they've never been consistent with their support, and then they're finally actually showing that they are supporting the PC as an actual gaming platform. I commend them, and I'm glad they're actually doing this finally after saying this for decades. But now they're going about it the wrong way. The game's great. Fantastic. Love it. Keep it going. Xbox Game Pass for PC. Great idea. I love it. I'm not discounting that. But your delivery mechanism is busted. Fix that first.
Well, I mean, you're right. You can fix that first, but they're fixing it. And it's also a way to, there's a lot of people complaining. You talked about it, how now you can with the browser format. You can play Outriders, which you cannot do natively in your PC, but you can play it through the cloud. They're trying to prevent that in the future. If you already have a version that goes to the Microsoft Store, you're not having to take away from Steam or Epic or whatever you're going, okay, well, we're going to go ahead and use the version that you have on our store. We already gave you an extra cut. Why don't you go ahead and just put it on Game Pass too? Like, I think it's a way to just meld everything together so that now when you have all these announcements, it's not so much, okay, oh, this one's only going to console. This one's only going to cloud. This one's only going to this. It's going to all three. Every time there's an announcement, unless it's an old game that, doesn't have a PC version or whatever, like, they're all going into all three. And it's the vision that they eventually want, where cloud's everywhere. So literally you buy this game, you can play it anywhere you want. And you can also, if you have a PC and you have a really good PC or whatever, and you want to play it on PC, you can do that too. Like, I think that's all what this is. It's all for the eventual. Now, Game Pass is really everywhere. And we fixed our store so that now we can have more compatibility when we do release these games, which I'm sure whenever they make the announcement in a couple of days or whatever, they're going to try to do that as well. Like, I think that's what this is for. It's not necessarily to fix their store. It's to make Game Pass better.
Oh, no, I agree 100%. And it goes back to like that video I made where I explained why they can't do it now, because the way that the store is, it only works with UWP apps. I 100%. I agree. That is where they're going. But this should have been something they've done in the past. But it's also a double-edged sword here because, okay, you fix it, you do everything. These games are on Xbox Game Pass. However, and as I said, you still have to pay for Xbox Game Pass. And I'm not advocating for Steam, but on Steam, when I want to buy a game, I just buy the damn game. Xbox Game Pass, I have to rent it and then decide, all right, I want it, and then pay for it.
Yeah, true.
It's either or. It's ever however you want to do it. You want to rent it first and see how it is. I love that idea. Great. The PC has become the Wild West as of the last 3-4 years. Yes, Steam was the biggest one. The Epic Game Store came around. We got GOG. We got Bethesda, which who knows if that's going to stay up because Microsoft owns Bethesda. I'm still worried about that. Another topic for another time. There's just countless stores out there. Too many places. And then as we talked about yesterday, we've got storefronts with exclusive games on the same platform. We have stores that have exclusive games, exclusive third-party games. I don't understand that, but I think Microsoft has a good idea.
They're also doing it to kind of support Epic in their fight against Apple. So that's that too.
Yeah. The thing that should never even be a fight, but yeah, whatever. That's dumb. I'm glad to see that they want to offer developers, publishers a bigger share. I will be honest. I think that what Steam takes, I think is justified, but maybe it could be less. But here's the thing. There is nobody right now on this planet that's going to make Steam budge other than Steam or Valve. Valve is the only people who's going to make them change their mind.
Yeah.
And until Sony does it on PlayStation and Xbox does it on Xbox, until everybody drops it, until Valve is the only one standing going, hey, guys, you're the only one doing this. What's going on? Drop your stuff. I don't see it happening. Apple still does it. Apple's still, 30%?
I mean, they also may be trying to do this because, they had the idea of do it on the system front, right? So if you improve your stores to the point where there's people going to it and buying games from it, then you're not only getting revenue from just your consoles, which is what they want to do eventually. They want the cloud to be something. They want these TV apps to eventually, be on all these smart TVs or whatever, and have a Fire Stick thing that they can sell you for $100. And
I'm waiting for that so much. That's going to be awesome.
But I think that's what they want to do. They eventually do want to do that 12% on the console too. So that's where their way they can compete with Sony, where Sony can't compete with them. Where they could get exclusives without having to really pay extras. Be like, oh, well, come to our system. You're getting a bigger cut. Why don't you? So I think that's there. They're being vehemently denying about it right now. Why? Because, all these games that are already in development, hey, what does that mean for us? They don't want to have to deal with that right now. But I think there is that hint that was dropped today. I think that's eventually their goal, is they do want to make that across the platforms too, so they can compete with Sony that way, because they know it doesn't matter how big Game Pass gets, there's nothing you can't compete with those games that Sony puts out. They got to do it other ways.
I agree with you. I don't agree with the whole Sony thing. Not all of it. I still think that Microsoft has the better racing game. That's just me.
Well, that's true, but we're picking at the worst things there.
Yeah, true. Karl, Matt, anything to say about that?
I got something to say. Can you stop talking about Microsoft, please?
Spectator Mode Podcast, we talk about gaming, and all gaming. So we can't not talk about one without talking about the others.
I mean, you could. It's Microsoft.
No.
They're trying to maintain themselves on the market, which they don't really have much to do with. They're just scatter pointing everything they can. Do I think it's going to succeed? Probably not, because they need a focus. That's just it. There's not much. I don't think there's much they can really do.
In terms of what? I mean, validate that what you said, because outside of the store, they're very heavy entrenched in gaming, in PC gaming.
Yes, but they bought other companies to publish games for them. Now they're PC friendly now, because they want to have a large space in the PC gaming market. Remember, they also have a console. So what's that about?
But that doesn't mean anything. They were doing that even before they bought those companies.
Of course, of course they were.
I mean, I was playing Forza on PC. I don't know what you were playing in Halo on PC, and Sea of Thieves on PC.
Yes, now it's PC. It's now PC gaming time.
Well, wait, I've been PC gaming time since I was a kid. Come on now.
Okay.
Karl, or do you step away?
Hey, if Microsoft want to try and do something to help improve their services, good for them. Improvement is a good thing.
I mean, if they can go and get Epic Games to stop buying exclusives because they're doing the same damn thing, it's just, that's just me. That'd be great. I would love it.
It'd be great if everybody would stop trying to buy everybody else, and we just
basically.
Yeah.
Well, can we go back to the old days where Steam ruled the world?
Wait. Well, I would like to go back to the old days where people made exclusives for the consoles or PCs or whatever because they wanted to, not because here's this truck full of money, guys, do this for me.
I mean, that might have been the way exclusives always were. We just don't know the back end.
Well, yeah, the only reason we know about it now because we're getting all the leaks saying, hey, we paid this company X amount of money to keep it off our other people's platforms. Yeah. But we won't go into Slimeball Tactics 101 because it's time to wrap it up. Anything anybody want to talk about real quick before we call it quits tonight? Anything that we may have missed? Anything super spectacular? Or any cool and amazing powers that we have that nobody's talking about?
Guilty Gear Strive is going to be a good video game. I don't know. Play more Guilty Gear.
Yes, Strive is going to be a good game. And they do have the beta coming out on May... When is it, Matt?
12th.
May 12th. So play that. I'll definitely be playing that. Again?
Sony currently has a Golden Week sale on their store, and I noticed a couple of the Guilty Gear games are on there. So, Matt, we're going to have to speak off air about which ones I should buy.
You need to buy...
I will tell him. Keith, you're not even playing me on PC right now.
But I have it. You told me to go get it, and I went and got it.
And I told you to play me. I tagged you. When are you playing me? Justify me right now. I need to pay rent.
Wait, what? I don't do money matches. You talk to the wrong guy.
You don't do money matches. Get out, you
wrong guy. I don't do money matches.
Fucking casuals killing the game. All right. I'll tell Karl. I'll give you a list of which ones you should try out.
Awesome. But I will also say, as I've said many times throughout the show tonight, people should be going to the Outerhaven YouTube channel and taking a look at such things as the Resident Evil Village demo gameplay, as well as all our podcasts and everything that we put on there, including Spec Mode. We also have lots of Outriders footage. We also have our Enter the Spoiler cast for the Falcon and Winter Soldier, which people should be having a look at as well. People can also listen to Matt and Sarah doing pitching pilots. And, of course, stuff that I do as well, which is unboxings of Magic the Gathering Strixhaven promos and the review on new Pokemon Snap, which I put together over the course of many hours, and I put a lot of effort into. Please like it.
And it's freaking amazing. Definitely check it out. It's amazeballs. I like it.
Yes. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the like, leave a comment, hit the notification bell, all that other stuff that they like to pitch and throw at you and tell you should be doing, because, we would like to also see people doing stuff on our YouTube channel. We'd like to interact with people. So comments and send us emails and hate threats. I don't know.
Wait, what?
I don't know about hate threats.
I don't know about that, bro.
Haters are fans too, okay?
Haters are fans too, yes, that's facts. Haters are fans.
Okay, well, I'm going to talk about something that's not actually gaming. I'm going to talk about a toy. So, hang on. So, we've all watched, or many of us have watched, the recent Disney series, Falcon and Winter Soldier, where Sam Wilson becomes Captain America. Well, Hot Toys and Sideshow Toys who are selling it are selling a really amazing 1/16 or 1/6 scale of Sam Wilson as Captain America, and it is freaking amazing. It's currently on sale for $375. It doesn't ship until next year, but Oh my freaking God. I had to pre-order it. It's $50 a month and it doesn't start charging me until 2022. But I will say this, if you're a fan of the show, if you're a fan of cool figurines and you like stuff like that, you might want to check it out. It's over on Hot Toys website. And these are the kind of things that don't stay up very long because once they go, they are on eBay for 2 to 3 times the price. So if you're a fan of the show, I would definitely give it a try. Check that out, see if you like it, and maybe just put a deposit down just to keep it secure. Otherwise, don't come back next year saying, wow, Keith was right. I should have got this because I'm not selling you mine. Never. Get your own.
It does look pretty awesome.
It's freaking amazing. It's completely posable. It comes with all the accessories, even Red Wing. The color scheme was perfect. It looks perfect. It looks freaking amazing. I cannot wait till next year to be here so I can actually get it and look at it and go, wow. And this is this is the second toy I pre-ordered this year. I'm tired of spending money on toys. I need an adult again. This is getting ridiculous. Too much money on toys. Holy crap. But that said, Sean, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you at, sir, so we can take it out of here.
All right, well, you can find me at WTimSean on Twitter. Follow me there for gaming takes, sports takes, and then you can go read reviews of myself and my colleagues over at WTimNet.com. That's a W2M and then a net.com for WTIM Network, which is where we do all of our podcasts. We're the main gaming podcast, Video Games to the Max, myself and Mark, which Keith was on this week. You know, he and Mark talked about Returnal and, you know, this topic that we talked about here and other stuff. So definitely should go check that out. Keith is awesome, and hopefully we'll have Karl on one of these days.
You hear that? You hear that? He said, I'm awesome, so you can't dispute that anymore. Somebody else said it, so you're screwed now, guys.
And Matt, too, if he wants to be on, because, you know, seems like he has opinions about a lot of things. And, of course, we also have another gaming podcast that they talk about games, but they talk about, like, one game, and then they go through it, and they talk about another game, and like a storybook about games. And they also talk about, like, reviewing movies, so they did the old Mortal Kombat movie, and I think this week, they're doing the new Mortal Kombat movie. So you can go check that out. It's called Chapter Select. If you just subscribe to the whole W2 Network, you get all of our stuff. Entertainment podcasts, they review like everything under the sun. And, you know, the NFL draft just happened, so the kickoff is there to talk about football.
More football.
You know, all that. So thanks, Keith, again for having me on, and you can go check us out there.
Thanks again, Sean. And for everybody else, you can always check out the Spectator Mode podcast on Buzzsprout, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple iTunes, Amazon Podcasts, and anywhere else that podcasts are hosted. So on behalf of myself, Karl, Matt, and Sean, thanks for checking out Spectator Mode Podcast episode 95. And if you have any questions for our next show, be sure to leave an email or hit us up on Twitter, hit us up on Facebook, or even drop a line over on YouTube. Thanks for listening.